childless, cat lady, which is utterly ridiculous and obnoxious and wrong. What I really worry about is what he would do being one heartbeat away from the presidency.
And welcome back to Square Off. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly sure sounds like he's auditioning for the role of VP Kamala Harris's running mate. Kelly has reportedly been asked to submit personal information for vetting by Harris's team. He's one of several potential running mates on the Democratic ticket. But is Kelly the favorite? And can Harris win our battleground state without him? I'm joined by Christine Jones, an attorney and former Republican candidate for governor, and Adam Kinsey, Democratic consultant at Uplift Campaigns. Welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Just want to point out, 31 days ago, Joe Biden was preparing right now for a debate with Donald Trump. And then the world turned upside down, and here we are. So, wow. On to the news. Vice President Kamala Harris is the likely Democratic nominee. There is a kind of Harris honeymoon going on right now. Adam, what does Harris do for the Democratic ticket that Joe Biden couldn't do?
Presidential elections are often about base turnout, and it did a lot for that. We had an enthusiasm deficit, we like to say. Folks weren't as excited as we needed them to be, and within 24 hours of the change being made, we have seen grassroots fundraising, grassroots volunteering. It's been a complete 180, and folks used to wake up and doom scroll. Now they wake up and joy scroll. There's a palpable energy that she has brought to the race.
Joy scroll.
Joy scrolling. It's a new thing.
Is joy scrolling enough for Kamala Harris to win Arizona, where Joe Biden was behind in the polls, well behind?
Your point about the honeymoon period is well taken, right? So she's going to get this period of joy and effervescence and fundraising and all of those things. But no, it's not enough. Obviously, who she picks and what she does substantively for the next 100 days or 99 days or wherever we are now that the world is upside down is what matters, right? And for her, and Adam, you have to deal with this. She has a record, and we know here in Arizona, especially what she has and hasn't done. And so if the message is, you messed up the border, the enthusiasm will come back, and we'll start to see the numbers actually, I think, sort of normalize around the actual support as opposed to just sort of the convention bump that you see both parties get.
I think if the race is about the records, I think Vice President Harris wins pretty substantially, because the record is really impressive. We have the largest infrastructure investment that we've ever had in our country. We're putting more people back to work. We're lowering prescription drug prices, capping insulin, doing all these things that are really important in lowering the costs for everyday Americans. And when it comes to the border, I think Donald Trump really did a disservice to himself and his party by blocking the bipartisan border security deal that even the Border Patrol Union supported. He said, I want the issue, not the policy, so he killed it. And that was a big mistake, because that would have been a substantive difference, and they opposed it.
And yet, in voters' minds, you have to acknowledge that Kamala Harris, rightly or wrongly, and I'm not sure it's entirely correct, but she has been painted as the border czar, the immigration czar. And immigration, until 31 days ago, was one of the #1 issues, one of the top issues in Arizona. So
well, and I love the notion of the Democrat talking points, and congratulations, Adam is excellent at his job. But voters know. Voters know their groceries are more expensive, their gasoline is more expensive, their rent is more expensive. And if you live in a border state, they know that there is an issue with the border. You can talk about all of your policy accomplishments and name call all you want. The fact is, voters know what they feel, and what they feel matters. And by the way, hats off to Senator Kyrsten Sinema. If you guys really cared that much about the infrastructure bill, you'd be running her again, and you're not.
Well, she is an independent.
Well, only because, well, we don't need to get, sorry, I didn't mean to drag us into that, but I feel like there's a little hypocrisy.
The border gives us a chance to bring in Mark Kelly into the
Fair
conversation. I'm going to ask you both not to be homers on this. I know it can be hard when one of your own is up there, but what does Kelly bring as a potential running mate, in particular to the border conversation, not just in Arizona, but around the country, where it's an issue. It's an issue in the Northeast and the Midwest.
You know, I go back to this bipartisan border security deal. I mean, that was something that he was very much in favor of and instrumental in developing, and it was killed for political reasons by Republicans. And you see things like that. You know, Mark Kelly is not a liberal Democrat. He is moderate. He matches the state very well, and border security is one of his top priorities, and he's always voted accordingly, and he's worked accordingly. So I think having a border senator on the ticket certainly helps out. There are a number of ways that Senator Kelly would help that ticket out, not the least of which being an incredible background, including, you know, raised by 2 police officers, flew 4 space shuttle missions, 39 combat missions over Iraq. But in terms of your specific question about the border, I think he absolutely can speak to it in a way that other contenders for the vice presidential nomination can't.
Who would Republicans least want as a running mate for Kamala Harris?
Fair question. First of all, with respect to Senator Kelly, I don't disagree with Adam. I think he is strong. Typically in the vice presidential sweepstakes, we say do no harm. He may be a person who actually could add, because he has this incredible story arc. Interestingly, similar to J.D. Vance's, right? They're both military. You'll get the Navy Marine Corps battle going on where J.D. Vance in the debate says, oh,
I don't think J.D. Vance wants to get into that.
Well,
we'll take that comparison all day.
On the military, right, where the Marine Corps says, oh, we like the Navy, they always give us a right to go do the real fighting, all of those things will come out. Who do the Republicans want, right? The Republicans want somebody who's not going to screw it up, because we know that Kamala Harris will, if, God forbid, she wins. That's what Americans who care about the country want. There are other choices that are also good that Harris could and should look at, right? There's the Minnesota governor, Tim Walz, who has come up and done, you know, a bunch of media is shining very, very nicely. We obviously, we desperately need to drive some space between the super progressive Kamala Harris and something more moderate on the vice presidential side. So that would be helpful for us.
Got to end it there. When we come